Most people are alive, but very few are truly living. We wake up, move through our days, and go to sleep. Yet somewhere in between, we forget that life is not a rehearsal. Every breath is a moment that will never return. So the real question is not how long you live, but how deeply you live before you die. Most people believe that life is something that stretches endlessly ahead of them. They walk through their days as if the clock has promised them more time, more chances to speak what they feel, more days to follow what truly matters, more tomorrows to start living fully. But that promise doesn't exist. The idea of tomorrow is one of the greatest illusions we have created to protect ourselves from the truth that time is not ours to own. The present moment is the only moment we truly have, and yet it's the one we most often let slip through our fingers. We postpone everything. We tell ourselves we'll be happier when we achieve this goal, when we earn this amount of money, when we fix this problem, when we finally have time. But life doesn't wait for us to get ready. It moves with or without our permission. Every time we delay our dreams, every time we silence our hearts, every time we ignore what our soul quietly whispers, a part of us slowly starts to die. Not physically, but emotionally, spiritually. The tragedy of life is not death itself, it's what we let die inside us while we're still alive. When you wake up in the morning, you are already given the greatest gift. Another chance to breathe, to try, to love, to begin again. But how often do you open your eyes and truly feel that? Most of us open our eyes and immediately fall into the cycle of yesterday, rushing, complaining, scrolling, comparing, worrying. We forget that the sunrise we take for granted today is something someone else didn't live to see. And if you were to truly pause for a moment, to look around, to listen, to breathe with awareness, you would realize that life is whispering to you constantly, wake up. You're alive. Living before you die starts with presence, not just being physically here, but fully here. When you eat, taste your food. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you speak to someone, look into their eyes and truly listen. We have become experts at existing everywhere except where we are. Our minds live in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries, but life happens only in this breath, right now. To awaken from the illusion of tomorrow is to understand that this moment will never come again, and that makes it infinitely precious. Many people say they want to change their lives, but they wait for the right timing, as if the universe will send them a special invitation. That day never comes. The right time to live, to take that step, to say what you feel, to pursue what matters is always now. Every delay strengthens the habit of waiting, and waiting is the silent thief of life. The people who live deeply are not those who have more time, but those who use the time they have with awareness. They have understood that it's not the length of life that defines its beauty, but the depth with which it's lived. You see, every second that passes is gone forever. But this isn't meant to make you fearful. It's meant to wake you up. When you remember that your time is limited, you start to value what truly matters. You stop chasing things that have no meaning. You stop wasting energy on anger, on judgment, on comparison. You begin to see the world differently. The small moments, a laugh with a friend, a quiet walk, the sound of rain, they start to matter more than any possession or title. Because those are the moments where life actually lives. To live before you die, you must stop living as if you have endless tomorrows. You must learn to look at each day as if it were your last, not with fear, but with appreciation. If you knew that tonight was your final night, what would you say differently? Whom would you forgive? What dream would you finally take a step toward? That awareness changes everything. It strips away the unnecessary. It brings you face to face with truth. And it teaches you that what matters is not what you achieve, but how you exist. So start small. Begin by being awake to the life already around you. When you wake up, feel gratitude instead of rushing. When you eat, eat slowly. When you talk, listen with presence. When you walk outside, look at the sky. These may seem like small things, but they are the beginning of transformation. Presence is not a luxury. It is the foundation of real living. When you live in awareness, you realize that every ordinary moment contains something extraordinary. Don't let life become a blur of routine. Don't live on autopilot, repeating days that feel empty just because they're familiar. The comfort of repetition can numb the soul. Every day is an opportunity to awaken, to notice, to learn, to become more than you were yesterday. You are not meant to drift through existence. You are meant to participate in it consciously. Living before you die means daring to break free from the illusion that there will always be more time. It means doing what matters, saying what needs to be said, and showing up fully in the present moment. Because when you do, something changes inside you. The ordinary becomes sacred. The fleeting becomes eternal. You will not always have tomorrow, but you have this breath, this heartbeat, this chance to live right now before it's gone. A comfort is seductive. It whispers to you softly, telling you to take it easy, to stay where it's warm, familiar, and safe. It convinces you that stillness means peace. But there is a vast difference between peace and stagnation. Comfort has a way of numbing the spirit. It quiets your hunger, dulls your fire, and little by little, it steals the strength that once lived inside you. The truth is, the path to growth will never be comfortable, because growth demands transformation, and transformation is the death of the old self. Every time you avoid discomfort, you reject an opportunity to evolve. Most people fear struggle because they associate it with pain or failure, but struggle is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It is the force that shapes your character, reveals your endurance, and polishes your mind into clarity. Think of a seed buried beneath the soil. Before it becomes a tree, it must break through its shell, push against the darkness, and reach for the light. The process is not gentle. It's uncomfortable, it's demanding, yet without that resistance it would never grow. You are no different. The modern world has trained us to seek shortcuts, to chase comfort at every turn. Fast food, fast entertainment, fast gratification. But when everything becomes easy, you lose touch with depth. You lose patience, resilience, and focus. The muscles of the mind, just like those of the body, grow only through resistance. You cannot meditate for one day and expect stillness to stay. You cannot train once and expect strength to remain. Every day requires a choice to stay asleep in comfort or to awaken through challenge. When life gets hard, most people ask, why is this happening to me? The better question is, what is this teaching me? Pain, loss, failure, disappointment, these are not punishments. They are invitations. Each one holds a message, a lesson about who you are and what you can become. Growth asks for your willingness to face discomfort without running away. The problem is not that life tests you. The problem is that you avoid the tests, not realizing that each one is designed to build you. It's easy to talk about strength when life is gentle, but real strength is measured when life stops being kind. It is in those moments when you want to give up, yet choose to keep walking, that your true power awakens. The mind will always look for the easiest way, to escape the challenge, to delay the effort, but that is the path of mediocrity. The warrior within you is born only when you learn to endure, when you stop resisting discomfort and start using it as your tool, when the body aches during training, when the mind grows restless in silence, when fear rises before you take a step into the unknown. These are not signs that you're failing. They are signs that you're expanding. Each time you meet discomfort with presence instead of avoidance, you move closer to mastery. The mountain is climbed not because it is easy, but because in climbing it, you discover what you're made of. Ask yourself, when was the last time you deliberately did something difficult? Not because you had to, but because it made you grow. The mind finds comfort in routine, but the soul thrives in challenge. When you repeat only what you know, you stop learning. When you stay only where you feel safe, you stop evolving. Life will never change for the one who refuses to step beyond the edge of their own limits. Discomfort can come in many forms. It might be the physical strain of training your body, the emotional tension of letting go of something familiar, or the mental discipline of facing your fears without distraction. But no matter the form, the principle remains: the only way to grow is to move through it, not around it. You can't meditate your way out of fear. You must face it. You can't wish for strength. You must earn it. You can't hope for discipline. You must build it one choice at a time. Growth demands presence, and presence often feels uncomfortable because it exposes what's hidden, your doubts, your impatience, your resistance. But it's in meeting those shadows that you begin to find your light. You start realizing that discomfort doesn't destroy you, it refines you. The moments that once felt unbearable become the same moments that teach you endurance. The failures that once broke you become the foundation of wisdom. The fear that once froze you becomes the fire that drives you. You cannot expect to grow while staying comfortable. The butterfly cannot remain in the cocoon and expect to fly. The fire that forges the sword must first burn away all that is weak. The storm that bends the tree also strengthens its roots. Every force of nature grows through challenge, and so do you. Do not fear discomfort. Learn to lean into it. Every time you train your mind or body, every time you stay disciplined when no one is watching, every time you take a step despite the trembling inside you, you are building something greater than skill. You are building character. You are cultivating inner power. There will be days when the path feels endless, when exhaustion whispers that you've done enough, when doubt tells you to turn back. But those are the very moments when transformation is near. Most people quit right before they meet the version of themselves they've been trying to become. Endure a little longer. Push one step further. What you seek is always on the other side of discomfort. So choose growth over comfort. Choose the hard path not because it's easy to walk, but because it awakens what's sleeping inside you. Every moment you stretch beyond your limits, you are not losing peace. You are gaining purpose. The purpose of life is not to avoid the storms, but to learn how to stand in the rain and still move forward. And when you learn to do that, when you embrace discomfort with awareness, you will realize that the pain you once feared has become the power that carries you forward. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against the world outside, but against the mind within. It is not your environment, your circumstances, or other people that truly limit you. It is the voice in your head that tells you what you can and cannot do. That voice, when uncontrolled, becomes the invisible chain that holds you back from living fully. The mind is a powerful servant, but when it takes control, it becomes a ruthless master. It can convince you that you are not ready, not worthy, not capable, even when everything inside you is built to rise. Most people spend their lives believing everything their mind tells them. They become prisoners of their thoughts without even realizing it. The mind says, you can't, and they stop trying. It says, you might fail, and they hesitate. It says, you are not enough, and they shrink. But the truth is, your thoughts are not facts. They are just clouds passing through the sky of awareness. You are not the cloud, you are the sky. When you learn to observe your mind instead of obeying it, you begin to understand freedom. Discipline of the mind is not about suppressing thoughts. It is about mastering awareness. It's the ability to see what the mind is doing, to notice when it creates fear or judgment, and to choose not to be carried away by it. Thoughts come and go like waves, but you must become the ocean, deep, calm, and unmoved by the surface. Every emotion, every fear, every doubt, they all rise from the same place: attachment to thoughts. When you step back and observe them with clarity, you realize that they lose their power over you. The mind is restless by nature. It seeks comfort, chases pleasure, and runs from pain. It attaches to memories of the past and anxieties of the future. This constant movement drains your energy and clouds your perception. You can spend an entire life reacting to this noise, reacting to anger, reacting to worry, reacting to the opinions of others, without ever realizing that none of it is who you truly are. To master your mind is to silence the unnecessary noise and return to stillness. Stillness does not mean absence of thought. It means you are no longer dominated by it. It means that when fear arises, you see it clearly, but you do not run. When anger appears, you feel it, but you do not feed it. When doubt enters, you recognize it, but you do not become it. This is the essence of self-mastery, not controlling the outside world, but governing the inner one. Every person has two voices inside them. One is the voice of the mind, loud, impatient, fearful, constantly demanding attention. The other is the voice of awareness, quiet, calm, timeless. The voice of awareness doesn't speak through words, it speaks through stillness. It guides through intuition, through the subtle feeling of what is right. The more you feed the voice of the mind, the more restless you become. The more you feed the voice of awareness, the more peaceful and powerful your life becomes. The question is, which one are you listening to? Because whichever one you obey becomes the one that leads your life. If you obey fear, fear becomes your master. If you obey anger, anger becomes your path. But if you train yourself to listen to awareness, your life begins to unfold with purpose. Discipline of the mind doesn't happen overnight. It's built moment by moment, choice by choice. It starts with noticing your reactions, your impulses, your inner dialogue. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, you weaken the hold of the mind. Think about how much time people spend in worry. Most of what you fear never actually happens, yet it consumes your peace. Or consider how easily a single negative thought can poison an entire day. This happens because you identify with the thought instead of observing it. When you believe every thought that enters your mind, you hand over your freedom. The mind becomes the driver, and you the passenger. But when you become aware, you take the seat of the driver. You decide where to go. Training the mind is like training a wild animal. It takes patience, consistency, and compassion. You don't fight the mind, you guide it. Meditation, mindfulness, or even a few moments of conscious breathing each day. These are not spiritual luxuries. They are tools for reclaiming control. Each time you sit in silence and observe your thoughts, you are strengthening awareness. Each time you breathe through chaos instead of reacting, you are sharpening your power. The mind that once controlled you begins to serve you. The strength you build in your mind will reflect in every part of your life. When your mind is stable, your emotions become balanced. When your emotions are balanced, your actions become intentional. And when your actions are intentional, your life begins to move with direction instead of confusion. You stop being a victim of moods and circumstances because you understand that peace is not something that happens to you. It is something you create from within. Even in moments of failure, when everything around you seems to fall apart, a disciplined mind remains still. It doesn't get lost in despair. It observes the situation, learns from it, and continues. This inner calm is not indifference. It is wisdom. It is the knowing that no external event can take away your inner stability unless you allow it. That is true power. The power to choose how you respond, regardless of what happens. There is a saying, the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. When you live unconsciously, your mind controls you. It decides your emotions, your actions, your destiny. But when you awaken, when you become aware, you reverse the relationship. You control your mind, you direct its energy where it belongs, toward creation, compassion, clarity. To live before you die, you must master the mind, because a life ruled by uncontrolled thoughts is not truly lived. It is merely survived. Freedom is not found in changing the world around you, but in changing your relationship with the world within you. When you stop being ruled by the noise of the mind, you begin to hear the quiet truth of your being. That silence, that still awareness, is where life truly begins. So live now, not someday, not when everything feels perfect. Live with intention, with gratitude, with courage. Breathe deeply, love fiercely, move consciously. Every step, every heartbeat is a gift. Don't wait for life to remind you of its value through loss or regret. The purpose of life is not merely to exist, it is to awaken, to grow, to give, and to truly live before you die.